Don't forget to keep checking out the links down in the description. I'm also adding a link that I probably should have had added a while ago, but I'm adding it now because it has been brought to my attention recently, and I'm going to read it off my phone so that I have the correct information for you guys. So I'm adding the link to it's stopline3.org. What is Line 3? Line 3 is a proposed pipeline expansion to bring millions of barrels of tar sands per day to Alberta, Canada, to Superior, Wisconsin. It was proposed in 2014 by Enbridge, a Canadian pipeline company responsible for the largest inland oil spill in the US. Enbridge seeks to build a new pipeline corridor through untouched wetlands and the Treaty of, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong, Anishinaabe peoples through the Mississippi River headwaters to the shore of Lake Superior. And why the opposition? Why we're trying to stop Line 3? All pipelines spill. Line 3 isn't about safe transportation of a necessary product, it's about expansion of a dying tar sands industry. Line 3 would contribute to more climate change than Minnesota's entire economy. Minnesota's own Department of Commerce found our local market does not need Line 3 oil. We need to decommission the old Line 3 and justly transition to a renewable, sustainable economy. Line 3 would violate the treaty rights of the, again, I apologize if I say this wrong, Anishinaabe peoples and the nations in its path. Wild rice is a centerpiece of Anishinaabe culture. As it grows in numerous wetlands, Line 3 seeks to cross. It is well past time to end the legacy of theft and the destruction of indigenous peoples and territories. That is a serious thing. I'm adding it to the links in the description because that is another serious thing that we need to keep our eyes on and do whatever we can as allies, whether it's spreading information, donating to the protest, being part of the protest, providing resources to the protesters, anything we can do, signing petitions, whatever you can do. I know not everybody can do all of these things, not everybody can attend protests for whatever reason, but whatever you can do is a help. And that is why these links are down in the description, because we need to help these communities as much as we can. Hello Friendsies, welcome back to my channel. My makeup got like a little wild today. You probably can't see it too well unless I like get really close to the camera. It got really wild today. I really lost the plot with it, but that kind of works out because today I want to be talking about my best concert experiences because I miss concerts a lot. I miss them so much. A lot of it is like when I put my phone on shuffle and like old 5 Seconds of Summer music comes on and I'm like, oh my god, remember that concert? I miss them a lot. I know there's some going on like now and later this year and stuff was going on over the summer. I don't feel comfortable going to any of them. COVID is still real. The pandemic is still happening. If anything, it's worse than it was last year. So don't be a fucking idiot. Wear your mask, get vaccinated. Don't attend large group people things like concerts at the moment. I know they're fun and amazing, but don't do that shit. I want to talk about my favorite concert experiences, my best concert experiences, and yeah, I don't know, I thought that would be a fun video, so let's get into it. The first concert I ever went to, I don't know if anybody will remember this when I say this, but it was the Glamour Kills tour. I don't even remember what other artists were part of the Glamour Kills tour. I just know that a group of friends and I went to the concert because of Marianas Trench. At the time, it was like 2011, 2012. At the time, Marianas Trench was not like super popular in the US. Not a lot of people knew of them because they're a Canadian band. And it was a good friend of mine. It was a bunch of us. It was a bunch of girls that were a year older than me. That I had been friends with for a while. One of them like lives right up the street from me. We've known each other, you know, since we were young, all that stuff. They had like invited me along. Their mom, one of the moms had like bought an extra ticket for me. It was great. So we went to that concert. We ran straight to her mom's car after school and her mom brought us to the venue. And I guess the girls I was friends with also had like a friend from Tumblr that we met up with. It was 2 other girls that we met up with, which was awesome. Both of them had gotten really good spots in line, so they like let us in line with them. And it was very fun. We went specifically for Marianas Trench, like I said, and they were the opening act because I guess at the time the other artists that again I don't remember were not like, they weren't as popular as the other artists, so they were like the opening act. And it was great because the venue we were in was kind of weird. It had like a really big stage. And it was like the floor, like the pit, and then around the floor were like booths, and then there was a bar and everything, which would, I don't know, it was kind of strange. It was like no other concert venue I've been to. So we got in the pit because we were like higher up in line. But when other people came in, we went from like, if the stage is here, we went from like back here to basically here because, like I said, the way people filed in and got in the pit with us. So it was really cool. We were really close to the stage. Marinus Trench played. It was amazing. I had this, when I was younger, I had this little digital camera that was orange, and to like turn it on, you flipped it open to like reveal the lens. So I have a bunch of videos and pictures from that, from that concert. So it was pretty cool. And I don't remember if they like announced that they were going to be like hanging out, or if like my friends just kind of wanted to go and see if they were going to be hanging out. But they did their set, and, you know, other bands started playing, so we kind of left the pit. And we were walking around, and the lead singer, Josh Ramsey, was doing like pictures, kind of like, it wasn't really behind like backstage because there was not a lot of security from what I remember. It was really just like, I guess the bouncers or like the security guards for that venue, and like really nothing else. So I don't know, Glamour Kills back in the day, back in the early 2010s, I guess we just fucking did whatever. So the lead singer was like by this like weird kind of backstage area. So we went, you know, we took pictures with him, we hung out with him, whatever. God, I feel so bad. I don't remember their names. Yes, I do. One of the guys, was he bass or guitar? I don't remember because I'm trash. Matt from Marinus Trench was just walking around like through the audience, like in the audience, like vibing. So I probably had gone to the bar to get a drink. We like bumped into him and we were chatting with him and like taking pictures with him, and he signed like posters and stuff, and it was awesome. And he was wearing like a leather jacket. I specifically remember this. He was wearing a leather jacket, and he was like, "It's hot as balls. I'll be right back." And we were like, "Oh my God, no worries. It's fine. It's fine." So he left. And we were like, okay, like we hung out for like a while. We were hanging out for like a long time in the same space. And we were like, like whatever, like he's not gonna come back. And he did. And when he did, he was like pushing through people, like trying to get to us. And he's like, "Oh my God, guys, I'm so sorry. You know, I got stopped by a bunch of people. Hi, hello, we can keep chatting." Which was wicked cool. He was like a really cool dude to sit and talk to. Ian, the drummer, we also like found in the crowd, and he was wicked cool to talk to. And then Mike, the guitarist or bassist, again, I don't remember Matt and Mike, I don't remember which ones they were, I'm so sorry. He was at the merch booth, right? And a couple of my friends had like already gone ahead. I went with this other girl. Like we would kind of like, we stayed as a group for the most part, but some of us were like breaking off and like going to get water, going to the bathroom, things like that. So I went with this other girl to like the merch booth to like have him sign this like picture that one of my friends had given me, because they were like, "Yeah, you like this band. We know you don't have a lot of merch for it. Like here, we printed out this picture. You know, you can get it signed by people," which was wicked cool. And I can't believe I got rid of it, but I had this shirt that I like hated. So I like took it and was like, "Sign my shirt." And then I kept the shirt for a while. But we went to the merch booth, and Mike was wicked cool. And he had like taken a picture with my friend and like kind of leaned over the table. And then with me, he was like, "Hold on a minute," and comes like all the way around to the other side of the merch table and like put his arm around my shoulders and kind of like pulled me in. And he's like, "You good?" And like posed for the picture. And I was like, so that was wicked cool. And then after a while, we were like, okay, like, we're gonna head out, but it's like so loud. Like and my friend was like, "Oh, I can't call my mom. Like, let's just go outside." So we went to go outside, and the security guard was like, "When you leave, like, you can't come back in." And we were like, that's fucking dumb, but that's like super unsafe. Like, I don't know, we were young. So we were like, we should be able to be let back in, because I think we did have like an X or something on our hand. Like, we had some kind of something, even if it was just our tickets. Like, I don't remember. But we had some kind of something that like proved that we were there. So I don't know why we couldn't be let back in, but whatever. So we just like went outside, and it was really awkward. And the way this venue was on the outside, it was like, you know, like the big doors that a lot of venues have. And it was the sidewalk, but then kind of like right next to the doors was like a weird little ramp to like a platform. And I guess it was like the stage doors, which led out onto the platform. And there was like one of those like stone street like the things that are like this. I don't know, they're stone, and they're like at some places, but they're not at all places, and then they get moved. I don't know. So we were like all standing outside, like, and my friend was calling her mom, and we were like, "Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, they told us to wait outside." Sorry, my eye's itchy. What else is new? Yeah, we called her mom, and we were like, "Yeah, it's weird. Like, they're just making us wait outside, and we don't really feel safe. So like, that's awkward." And we were kind of like hanging out, and we saw like up on the like ramp and the little platform, Josh Ramsey was just outside like having a cigarette. we weren't really like drawing attention to him, but we were all kind of like, we were a decent sized group. We were all huddled together. We were like, oh my God, look, it's him, because we were like teenage girls. We were young teenage girls. We're like, oh my God, it's him. And he was out there smoking a cigarette, and he like saw us and was like, hey, it's you guys. Cause I guess I had just gone and like taken a picture with him and been like, hey, you're really cool, you know, like good concert, this and that. I guess a couple of my friends had like actually talked to him, like had conversations with him. So he saw us and he was like, hey, it's you guys, what are you doing? And we were like, oh, we're just waiting for a ride. Like, we didn't like know how to interact with him. And he came over and kind of like moved like the barrier thing as much as he could. Like I said, the security like did not exist at this point. I don't know. I think maybe it was before, like, I hate to like phrase it this way, but I think it was before shootings were like popular, kind of, or like frequent. Because there, like I said, there was not a lot of security here. Like, there were not people outside, like, things like that. So he, like, moved the stone thing and had us come over and, like, hang out with him by the stage door. And, you know, he smoked a cigarette, and then he was just, like, vibing with us and chatting with us. And we were, like, young teenage girls. I was a freshman or sophomore in high school, which means they were either sophomores or juniors. So I know, like, saying that, and with a lot of, like, stuff that's come to light, a lot of people that have come forward and, like, told their stories, that sounds bad. That sounds like maybe predatory behavior, but genuinely it wasn't. And I know maybe if it was saying that I was a young teenage girl, I wouldn't be able to identify it maybe, but it genuinely wasn't, because we all kind of stood around him. He didn't like, there was no like touching or like inappropriate behavior, because a couple of my friends, if I asked them now, would 100% be able to be like, oh yeah, XYZ happened if it had. But he was very cool. He was very respectful. He talked to us like actual people and not like, you know, fangirl teenage girls. He talked to us like people. It was very cool. A couple of my friends had like really, like, they kind of had really personal conversations with him, which, you know, whatever. He was wicked cool about it. He was very understanding. We met a couple other people. I still have him on Facebook. We met this guy, Hugh, who I think now, I'm not entirely sure what he does, but I think he writes a lot of articles about like the music industry and stuff, and he's like had a chance to meet a lot of people. He was there doing like a job, and he had one of his friends was with him, and we still remember it to this day. One of his friend was like wicked drunk, and every time he would like say something or tell a story, he would go, and that's what's up, like. So it was very cool. It was a very, very amazing first concert experience. I genuinely don't think my first experience at a concert could have gone any better. Like, that was probably the most ideal experience. And the second time I went to a concert, I'll only do the first two, because I feel like your first 2 or 3 concerts are like really important. But the second concert I ever went to was 5 Seconds of Summer, Rock It With Your Socks Out. And the only reason I was able to go is because one of my best friends in the entire world, Nicole, I was at college at the time. I made a video about this, but I was at college and I was extremely depressed. And my best friend Nicole used basically her entire tax return and asked her parents for like help fixing her car instead of using her tax return money to buy us concert tickets. And they were fantastic tickets. They were fairly good for the venue that we went to, because it's a venue that like the stage is down here and then the seats go up like into grass and everything. For the venue that we went to, we were so close to the stage, and she is an absolute fucking angel, and I love everything about you, Nicole. Hi, bestie. So yeah, there was the fact that we were that close was just everything to me. Love them. And it was just, it was great. I was absolutely in love with 5 Seconds of Summer. I still am. Like, I still adore them. Just because I haven't listened to any of their new music doesn't, you know, mean that I'm still not a fan. I have my 3 tattoos dedicated to them, so you know. But at the time, that was like my height of love for 5 Seconds of Summer. And we went, and it was the whole thing. It was just like being at a 5 Seconds of Summer concert was like the entire world to me. It was, hold on, what year was it? It was August 28th, 2015. And it was like one of the best days of my life. And it was just being like in a venue and like screaming songs at the top of my lungs to like one of my favorite bands ever. And it was like the Boston show. The thing that the Boston show always does is, I don't remember what song because I'm a fake fan and my memory is awful. But one of the songs they always play when they come to the Boston area, all of the Boston fans, like people like organize it and they pass out, you know, these things. It's cut out paper orange hearts. And during a specific song for 5 Seconds of Summer, people hold them up with their phones like behind it and like lit up with a flashlight. And it's been done every single year. I've been to 3 Five Sauce concerts in the Boston area, and every single year we've done that. And I think it's incredible. Oh, and my first Five Sauce, was it my first Five Sauce concert or was it the second one? It might have been the first one. Obviously, knowing that I was going to a Five Sauce concert, I saved up a lot of money. And I definitely bought a poster. And I bought a poster at the merch booth that was like outside of the venue, just because I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to get certain things inside, which I learned later, like by my 3rd concert. I was like, yeah, I know what I want, and I'll just go to the merch booth and I'll deal with it later. But I bought a poster, and the poster kind of like stuck. It wasn't like a lot. Like if my backpack was like this, the poster was sticking out like maybe that much. So it wasn't a very big poster, but it was big enough. And we had been hanging out with like a group of girls. Like we had been sitting like near one of the gates, like hanging out, chatting. We had like guaranteed seats. We didn't have like lawn seats. We had guaranteed seats. We weren't like super worried about being too close to the gate, but I was like, so I wanted to be close to the gate. We had been hanging out with a group of girls, you know, just like I had bought like a bunch of stuff. Like a lady had come around with like tour programs, I think. And she's like, oh, who wants some? And I like took out a wad of cash out of my backpack and I was like, I'll take one. So we had been hanging out with a bunch of girls, you know, like I think we had like traded hair ties with some of them, whatever. And I will never forget this girl. I wish I had gotten her name. So it's like almost time to load in. We're getting ready. Like the security guards are like kind of posing at the doors. And one of the security guards is like making an announcement because I guess people, you know, people make signs to go to concerts, and people had made really big signs, which sucks that they like took them and got rid of them. I don't know why that was a thing. If anybody knows, like if anybody has worked like concert venues like that and like knows like the safety reasons for that, please let me know. But people had made really big signs, I guess, that had been taken and like gotten rid of by the security because I guess they weren't safe for some reason. So one of the guys, like the security guard at our gate, was like telling us, he's like, you know, like no big concerts, like this and that. And one of the girls that we'd been hanging out with was standing in front of me, and she kind of like whipped back and looked at me and then looked forward again, and she yelled like wicked loud over like obviously the sea of people who are all excited to go see 5 Seconds of Summer. She's like, what about posters we bought? And he's like, no, like no big posters, this and that. And I like was like kind of panicking because this was the first time I had gone to a concert where I'd like bought merch, and like it had been a while between the Marianas Trench concert and then 5 Seconds of Summer, so I kind of like forgot what we did at concerts, I guess. And she whipped around and looked at me and she goes, give me your poster. And I was like, ah. So I took my poster out of my backpack and I gave it to her, and she takes a hair tie off her wrist and like wound it around the poster, you know, like how you keep like posters nice and tight. She wound it around the poster, goes, turn around. And I turned around and she opens my backpack, and I don't know how she was able to do it. The poster was not bent, is the thing. The only thing it was is like, you know, when posters are rolled up and then you have to unroll them and kind of flatten them. That's the only thing. It was not bent. It was not bent in half, nothing. I don't know how she did it, but she fit it into my backpack so that it wasn't sticking out at all, zipped up my backpack. She was like, you're good. And I turned around and I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you're good. Don't worry. Turned around and went off with her friends when the gates opened. I will never forget this girl, and I wish I got her name. She was incredible. And then, of course, you know, we went to the Five Sauce show. We had the most amazing show ever. It was great. Nicole and I developed a, like, habit of between the 3 Five Sauce concerts, because we went in 2015, 2016, and then 2018. Obviously, concerts get out late. So by the time we get back to our, you know, town, and the distance and everything, like, from the cities it was in, we'd get into town, get Burger King. She would bring me home. We'd eat it in the car in front of the house, and then we'd go home, and like that would be like the end of it. But we have developed that. And fun fact, in 2018, when we went to our concert, Nicole was pregnant, and it was baby's first concert, and I have pictures of that. I'm pretty sure I have them on Instagram. She had like painted her shirt, and it like she put like a white circle, and it was like future Five Sauce fan, and it was baby's first concert, and it was so exciting. I don't know if her toddler knows that like that was her first concert yet. We'll probably have to tell her. Although she's obsessed with Cocomelon. If it's not Cocomelon, I don't think she cares. But yeah, those were my like first concert experiences. Yeah, I'm only going to talk about those two. If you guys want to hear about the other two times I went to shows, the other two shows I went to, no, I went to a couple other shows. I went to see Haley Kiyoko, I went to see 5 Seconds of Summer twice more, and I went to see another artist that I don't like to talk about. Even though the victim, you know, retracted their statement, it was after being violently harassed online. But it was an artist that I went to, and then shortly after they were accused of sexual harassment and rape. And like I said, even though even though the victim, like took back their statement, I don't really trust that. You know what I mean? Like under the circumstances, I don't really trust that. So I don't actively listen to this artist at all. If I listen to anything by them, it's in ways that will not give them money, like pirating their music. So I don't really know if I want to talk about that show, but if you guys want to hear about the other shows I've gone to, let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye! I don't know what the thumbnail is gonna be. I'm so sorry now.